We live in a world that advances very rapidly.
Of course, we're all familiar with portable cellular phones. You've all seen phones like this, but did you ever think they'd get this small?
We constantly find ourselves amidst technological and scientific transformations that develop and embrace the society's needs.
Booster ignition and liftoff of the Space Shuttle Discovery.
Yet others quickly find means and ways to turn these entities into destructive weapons. In April 2007, Estonia became the victim of a previously unseen attack. It was silent, invisible to the naked eye, and devastating. It was a digital attack resulting in Estonia's banks, media, government institutions, and everyday services being paralyzed under the weight of one of the first large-scale coordinated cyber attacks in history.
It was approximately 10 o'clock when I received a call saying that the channels were down. And I received an SMS saying that the internet bank had some sort of trouble. From previous events, we knew that it could be an attack. So we found out quite quickly that it was an attack.
This incident became a pivotal moment in the European Union's cybersecurity, as well as created a marker for what will become known as hybrid warfare. Welcome to the story of how Russia turned ones and zeros into a weapon of geopolitical dominance. To understand why Estonia was targeted, we need to explore its history and its identity as a digital pioneer. Estonia's journey is remarkable. After gaining independence from the Soviet Union in 1991, it swiftly embraced technology, becoming one of the world's most digitally advanced nations.
You can apply for passport, you can apply for driver's license, you can sell your car and buy a car online, register it online. So most of the services in Estonia, when it concerns public service, is digital.
By 2007, Estonia was offering online voting, e-residency and digital public services, earning the nickname Estonia. But this digital renaissance took place against a backdrop of a geopolitical tension. Estonia's pivot towards the West, specifically joining NATO in 2004, and the EU shortly after, provoked resentment in Moscow because for Russia, Estonia and its Baltic neighbors were not just lost territories, but symbols of a challenge to its sphere of influence. In April of 2007, tensions boiled over when Estonia decided to relocate a Soviet-era monument, the Bronze Soldier, from central Tallinn to a military cemetery. For Estonians, this was a step toward reclaiming their national narrative. For Russia, it was a deeply offensive move that started a storm of condemnation from the Kremlin, as former empires rarely learn how to let go of their victims. The attacks began on April 27th, immediately after the Bronze Soldier was relocated. Over the next 3 weeks, Estonia's digital infrastructure faced an unprecedented barrage of distributed denial of service attacks. DDoS attacks work by flooding a server with massive amounts of traffic, overwhelming its capacity and rendering it inaccessible. Estonia's attackers targeted critical systems. Government websites were knocked offline, paralyzing public administration.
The websites of the government, national ministries, the media, the police, and even the national emergency number were also brought down.
These weren't just random acts of cyber vandalism, they were highly coordinated, with numerous networks of infected computers controlled remotely. Some experts estimate that tens of thousands of devices worldwide were involved. Estonia's cyber emergency response team became the frontline defense. This small but skilled team of cybersecurity experts coordinated efforts to restore services and identify attack patterns. Estonian authorities quickly suspected Russian involvement. While the Kremlin naturally denied direct responsibility, the attack's timing and sophistication suggested its active sponsorship. Russia's public, hostile and demeaning rhetoric towards Estonia following the moving of the Bronze Soldier also fueled suspicions. This was hybrid warfare, a blend of traditional, non-military and cyber operations aimed at destabilizing a nation without firing a single shot. The message from Moscow was clear: challenge our influence and you'll pay a price, even if the battlefield is invisible. Hybrid warfare was a narrowly explored term at that time, Today we define it as a strategy that mixes conventional and unconventional tactics to achieve geopolitical goals. In Estonia's case, the cyber attack was just one stage of a larger approach, continued to this day and involving several operative fields. Disinformation campaigns, in which basically the Russian media framed Estonia's actions as an attack on its Russian-speaking minority, instigating internal divisions, backed by diplomatic pressure from Russian officials and solidified by active incoming cyber attack operations. This all resulted in an unprecedented destructive force with no concept of countermeasures at that time. These tactics were designed to destabilize Estonia and send a message to other NATO and EU members: defying Moscow would come at a cost. Geopolitically, the attack was part of a broader pattern. Russia was emboldened by its ability to project power beyond its borders and began to escalate its hybrid warfare efforts.
Russia appears to have figured out how to crash a power grid with a click.
We've seen similar tactics in Ukraine, where Russia combined cyber attacks with military aggression, and we've seen interference in Western elections through disinformation campaigns. Hybrid warfare is Russia's playbook for sowing chaos and distrust in democratic institutions. The 2007 attack on Estonia was not just a crisis, it was a wake-up call for the entire international community. For NATO, it underscored how vulnerable its member states are to non-traditional threats. For the EU, the attack demonstrated the need for an unified approach to cybersecurity. The incident prompted discussions on strengthening digital resilience and sharing best practices among member states. It led to the creation of NATO Cooperative Cyber Defense Center of Excellence in Tallinn, a center dedicated to understanding, defending against, and countering cyber threats. The lesson was clear: cybersecurity is not just a national issue, it's a collective one. Russia's actions were a warning signal of the tactics we see playing out across the world today. From interference in democratic elections to cyber attacks targeting critical infrastructure, the manual basically remains the same. So, what can we do? I believe the answer lies in vigilance, collaboration, and a relentless commitment to innovation. Democracies must stay one step ahead, not just by building firewalls and securing networks, but by staying resilient to manipulation and disinformation. Stay vigilant and stay tuned.